everyone. Welcome to English Education Resource Center.
This is Laura from Taichung Wenhua Senior High School.
And I'm Tim from National Experimental High School in Taichung.
Well, Tim, what challenges you most when you teach English in a mixed ability classroom?
Well, as you know, students come to our classroom with different personal experiences, learning styles, interests, motivations, and of course, their readiness levels. Therefore, I find it quite difficult to address the student diversity in my classroom.
Well, Tim, the problem you encounter is not surprising to all of the English teachers here in Taiwan. That's why we have to implement differentiated instruction to meet the diverse needs of our students in an academically diverse classroom.
Differentiated instruction. Yeah, I heard of this concept before. Well, if my memory serves me right, differentiated instruction is a teacher's response to students' needs using general principles of differentiation such as flexible grouping, tiered assignments, and student choice.
Yes, according to Carol Tomlinson, based on students' readiness, learning styles, and interest, teachers can modify content, process, and product to meet the diverse needs of the students. Then the students will be assessed in a variety of ways to demonstrate their own growth.
Wow, this sounds really inspiring. But how can we start doing this?
Well, we can start with pre-assessment to see our students' readiness levels, learning styles, and interest. Then we can use what we already use to teach, but differentiate it one assignment or one activity at one time, and be sure to use small groups at least once a week.
Wait, I'm getting a little bit confused now. Can you be more specific by giving some really practical strategies?
Yeah, of course. It can include lots of instructional strategies such as tiered lesson plans, think pair share strategies, multiple intelligence options, anchor activities, graphic organizers, exit cards, and multiple levels questioning.
Wow, have you ever tried one of the strategies?
Yes, I have, and today I'm going to show to you how I taught writing through differentiated instruction.
Okay, so now let's take a look.
The central skill that my students were supposed to learn was how to write a good description. Before the whole class instruction, a pre-assessment was conducted to see students' readiness levels. Students were asked to write about their trip to Kending. They were required to generate as many details as possible, which included sensory details and strong adjectives. Based on students' performances, their readiness levels were determined: basic, intermediate, and advanced. After the pre-assessment, step-by-step instructions were given to help students write a good description through differentiation. The following are the steps to teaching descriptive writing through differentiation. Step 1. A whole class instruction on how to write a description was given. Students were reminded to make good use of descriptive words, sensory details, and similes or metaphors in their description.
The first one, a paragraph that describes. Okay, go. So according to the definition, a paragraph that describes an object, a place.
Step 2. 4 worksheets were handed out to help students get a better picture of what sensory details were and how they could make sentences containing similes and metaphors.
Earlier. So what did she touch? People bumping into you in the crowd. Okay, also. And what can you hear? Okay, that's good. What can you smell? Strong coffee smell. So what can you taste? If you understand So if you order something, if you
3. A mentor test was used to provide students with a model of describing an object.
And a huge round pockets on each side. So the raincoat has 2 huge pockets on each side. So can you imagine that? So the speakers give you as many details as possible, and you can imagine, okay, what a raincoat is.
Step 4. Students were paired up to discuss what helped them see the picture of the object. They had to write down the details, color, adjectives, and simile.
Oversized. Huge. Dingy.
Step 5. When students understood that a good description should be clear enough to paint a vivid picture in a reader's mind, they were ready to write. The writing assignment was writing a description of an object. For students of introductory level, they were asked to draw a picture of the object first, and then they had to write down at least 5 details and 5 adjectives. Finally, based on these details and adjectives, they needed to write a complete piece of description.
And now, please draw your object here first. Be sure to put as many details as you can in your drawing. So first of all, you need to draw a picture of the object, okay? And then when you finish drawing it, secondly, you have to try to put at least 5 details, 像刚刚这样讲的 5 details, and then 5 adjectives in the following chart to describe your object. So 5 details on the left column and 5 adjectives on the right column. Okay, understand? 那几个可以哦。Okay, last part will be on another piece of paper. Okay, everybody gets the piece of paper like this. Okay, you need to write a small piece of paragraph, a little paragraph.
For students of intermediate level, they were asked to write a description that contained vivid details, including 5 details and 5 adjectives. Also, their writing should include some sensory details that helped their readers see, feel, touch, smell, or taste the object. Then, they used their details and adjectives to write a description of the object that would paint the picture in a reader's mind. For students of advanced level, they were asked to write a description that contained vivid details and simile targeting one of the 5 senses. Then, they used their details, adjectives, and simile to write a description of the object. Step 6. Students' compositions were evaluated, and if necessary, proper adjustments would be made to meet students' needs.
That looks really impressive. How about the students' performance?
Well, by modifying the product, I found it easier for students to write out something which demonstrates their understanding of the key concept of writing a good description.
Tier assignments are really workable.
Yes, and I remember that you told me you wanted to see how differentiation worked. How did it go?
Well, I did try to teach my reading class by using the leveled graphic organizers and the strategy on multiple intelligences. Want to see that?
Sure.
Differentiated instruction is the desire to meet the needs of all students. It requires flexibility, which propels us to modify our instruction based on the performance of our students. For individual learners, we can start from the modification of content, process, or product. In the following, we will show you how to differentiate their learning tasks for the purpose of satisfying learners at different proficiency levels and with various learning preferences. Okay, so now you can see part 1. Okay, so the topic of this lesson is how to live in harmony with nature. And in part 1, we are going to take the first task. So for task 1, please read the 3 legends and match each item with one of the pictures below. So I want you to quickly read through these 3 short stories about a tribe and then try to match each pictures with the passages below. Okay? The main reading text is a tale legend which talks about the interaction between human beings and nature. Students are guided to read 3 short stories and do the picture matching. After the reading task, they have to evaluate their reading process and judge the difficulty of the stories. Their judgment on the stories will be used as a primary assessment for the following task. If they consider the stories easy, they will receive a more challenging task. On the other hand, if they consider the stories challenging, they will receive an easier task. In addition, after the vocabulary instruction, the teacher leads students to read aloud each word and give them a quiz to assess their readiness for the new reading text. Their scores will also be used as a reference for later task assignment.
Legend, harmony, form, tell, net.
Based on their performance of the picture matching and the vocabulary quiz, the teacher gives each student a secret number and then gives them different worksheets. For advanced learners, they get a secret number 2 and receive a more challenging worksheet without much support. For slow learners, they get a secret number 1 and receive a worksheet with more instructions and hints. The worksheet for advanced learners requires them to digest and analyze the text themselves, while the worksheet for slow learners provides them with clear guidance and summaries, which only requires them to fill in each blank with the correct word. The different test difficulty levels will give them either an appropriate mental challenge or sufficient learning support when dealing with the same reading material. For the last task, students have to summarize the legend into 6 parts. They can choose to write a short paragraph for each column or draw a comic strip to show their understanding. The difference aims to cater to their multiple intelligences. Those who are good writers can choose to express their ideas with words, while those who are good artists can choose to show their ideas with pictures.
That's really something. Did your students enjoy the process?
Yes, they were quite engaged, and I think it was much easier for students of different levels to attain a sense of achievement. Perhaps it was because their individual needs were addressed.
Yeah, Howard Gardner once said, the biggest mistake of past centuries in teaching has been to treat all children as if they were variants of the same individual, and thus to feel justified to teach them all the same subjects in the same way.
Exactly. I think it's time that we English teacher did some DI in class. Actually, I wrote some words to encourage every English teacher to use DI in our classroom.
Wow, really?
Let me tell you, DI 唔是 BI，DI 唔是要讓老師感覺 BI 也是增加負擔，DI 是相愛。咱愛咱的學生，咱愛咱的教育。Let's DI together.